everybody, and welcome to the Mindset Bitches podcast. Another week has gone by, and we're glad to have you back. As you can tell, if you are watching the video, you see I'm sitting here by myself today. Margaret is not here. If you're listening to this, I'll just tell you, Margaret is not here today. She had some things that she had to go do, so she wasn't able to be here. And she asked me if I would mind carrying it by myself, and I said, sure, I'll do that for us. So I'm here by myself today, but I'm glad that you have joined us. Today is March the 4th, and I saw something on Facebook a little bit ago, a quote that was so cool. It said, today is the only day of the year that tells us what to do, and that is to March 4th. You know, I always tell people, don't look behind you. You're not going that way. You're going forward. So I would encourage you on this March 4th to March 4th into something beautiful today, whether it's something you need to change or whether it's a new beginning for you in some way. We just encourage you to March 4th. As I was thinking about what I wanted to share with everybody today about healing mindset, one thing kept coming back into my mind over and over again, and it was something that I had to get very comfortable doing. And that is giving grace and offering forgiveness. That is a really hard thing to do. I mean, let's think about it. When we have been wronged in some way or another, and we feel like we really didn't do anything to deserve it, it is sometimes so hard to forgive and to let that go. I've had lots of things happen to me over, the past years that I really carried with me. I carried them like baggage. I just felt like I needed that person to apologize, or I couldn't move forward until I found some sort of closure. And I think that's something people talk about an awful lot. How do we get closure on things? For me, it came down to a point of understanding forgiveness. It takes so much energy to carry bitterness around. It takes so much energy to carry hate around. And it will wipe you out. I mean, mentally, it will weigh you down. And I found out that giving forgiveness wasn't so much for the other person as it is for me. It was being able to let go of things and to move forward without having to carry that bitterness around anymore. It's not saying I agree with what you did to me. I release you from what you did to me, and I accept that. It's not saying that. It's saying that I love myself enough to know that I didn't deserve it. So I'm going to forgive you and move on and realize that I may never get the closure that I think that I had deserved. But I know that in my mind, I don't deserve to carry that hate around anymore. And I don't deserve to carry that bitterness around. Because let me tell you, folks, you talk about something that will weigh down your mind. That certainly will. I was listening to a pastor this weekend, and it was so good because, as a woman of faith, I am commanded to love my enemy. And sometimes that's hard. I mean, let's be real. I mean, there are people in this life that it is really hard to love. And there are times that people do wrong to us, and, we would just as soon not have them in our life. They're, considered enemies. And let's be real. There's some people that have done some really, really, really bad things to us. And we kind of put them in that enemy category. And yet I am commanded to love them. And that's hard to understand, how to love somebody that you don't really consider lovable. And as the pastor explained, and it made it so clear for me, commanded to love our neighbor doesn't mean that we necessarily go up and hug them and forgive them and bring them into our home and feed them dinner and treat them like royalty. It doesn't mean that. What it means to love our enemy is to let go without the need for retaliation or revenge and to give it to a higher court. Basically we're saying, I am just going to let you go. I will forgive you for what you've done. It doesn't mean I have to have a relationship with you, but it just means I don't need to hope that karma bites you. I don't need to seek revenge on you. I don't wish ill will for you. I'm just saying, I'm letting you go. And I have peace in my heart that I can move on without the need to feel hate or anything like that. This has become something that has really healed my mind, is to be able to understand forgiveness and loving people that I considered, unlovable. And one habit of health that I coach people to is making sure that your surroundings are healthy. Because if your surroundings and your relationships aren't healthy, that is not going to help your mindset. It is okay to set boundaries with people that we don't necessarily need to have in our life that cause us to have a toxic mindset. There are people in my life that are that should be very close to me, that I have had to create boundaries with and to disconnect from them because they hurt my soul, they hurt my spirit. And I've done my best to try to reconcile, but they still have remained toxic in my life. So I've had to set boundaries and cut myself off. But by saying, I forgive you, I let you go. I don't seek ill will for you. I don't need revenge. I don't need retaliation. I have found peace in my mind. And I am able to get up each day and not have to carry that burden around. So I encourage you today to try to get to that point. I know sometimes it's really hard, but it really does come to a point in our life where if we don't let go of things like that, it will continue to poison our life and poison our mind. So I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. I hope you have found some little nuggets in this podcast today that will help you to march forth on this March 4th. So have a fantastic week, and Margaret and I will look forward to talking to you next week. As always, please feel free to subscribe to our podcast. We would love to have you follow us. We would also love any questions that you would like to leave so that we can answer those at some Q&A in the future. So have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you soon.